hood up. Is that what we're doing? Hair's
so.
okay. Hair's cute. That looks nice.
Sure, thanks.
Very J-Lo of you.
Oh, wow.
Cool. And welcome back to another edition of On Air with LA Balloons. I'm here with Karen.
Hello.
And my name is Andrew. And we are your host. Thank you to Tuftex for sponsoring the whole show and this whole season.
Woo.
So you can see them right behind us in our cool neon sign. If you haven't noticed, our setup is a little bit different this time because we've been getting ready for float.
Yeah.
The LA Balloons neon sign will be there at our booth along with the flower wall. So a little bit of a different vibe this week.
Yeah.
But I think in the next couple episodes, you'll see a transition into the new setup.
Different changes. We're just trying to figure it out. So next setup is going to be very different. So keep an eye out for that.
Whole vibe.
Yeah.
Karen's vibe.
You.
So I've got a nice little outline today of things that we are going to talk about. But before we get started, I've got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
You can hold your answer to the end and for the audience. And that is, how many colors does Tuftex offer in their catalog right now?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Tuftex, we are color. You know, that's their motto. They've got a ton of colors so that you don't have to double stuff. How many colors do they have in their catalog? So think about it, do your research, see if you can count it out.
Well, obviously you know the number, right?
I know the number.
I have a number in my mind and I want to just say it. But should I wait or should I just tell you now?
Hold on to that number because
Okay.
I want to swing back to the end of the show
Okay.
so we can confirm. But I did get the answer direct from Tuftex after doing my own research for it.
All right.
Okay, but we are going to start today with this or that with Tuftex colors.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to give you two colors to start off with,
Okay.
and you're going to tell me which one you like better,
Okay.
and then we'll compare it to the rest.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
so get my notes here. Old school. This or that, cameo or pixie?
Cameo.
Hot pink or cameo?
Cameo.
Cameo or empowerment?
Empowerment.
Empowerment or willow?
Empowerment.
Empowerment or blue slate?
Empowerment.
Empowerment or Monet?
Empowerment.
Metallic midnight blue or empowerment?
Empowerment.
Oh man, empowerment for the win. Empowerment or stone?
Empowerment.
Empowerment or lace?
Empowerment.
Empowerment or blossom?
Ooh. Blossom.
Oh man, okay. Blossom or canyon rose?
Oh my gosh. It's hard. Blossom? Blossom.
Blossom or periwinkle?
Blossom.
You are a blossom girly.
Ooh.
So, you guys can play along, play this back, see
Oh
which
my
ones you guys like
gosh.
better. So, I actually knew that empowerment was higher on your list,
Uh-huh.
so I should have moved that down a little bit further, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
I
Empowerment.
didn't think I would choose empowerment as often as I did. Empowerment is one of those colors that I do like, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like the tones that it's in. So,
It's a great color. I mean, I
yeah.
think it's in my top 5 probably.
Yeah. So, well, Blossom is, I think, probably like one of my top ones in the Tuftex line. So I'm a Blossom girly.
I saw that on Instagram somewhere, so I thought we'd try it.
Ah, it's cute.
All right. And then, all right, before we go on, next option or next thing I want to bring up is the LA Balloons Education Resource Center.
Okay.
So if you are listening to this or if you're watching this, we do have an education resource center on laballoons.com where we offer free videos, how-to tutorials from videos all over, and we've kind of condensed it to the ones that we vetted. We also offer discounts on master classes offered by some of the top professionals in the industry, like Deandra from Party Shop Avenue and Joette, Balloon Coach. So check it out if you're looking for a way to kind of step up your game, making investment in your learning, and obviously going to conventions like Float, which by the time this airs, we would have been back.
Yeah.
But going to the conventions, networking, taking classes, whether it's physical or online, that is something that all business people should be doing, so that they can grow and get to that next level. You said you had some questions for me, so and actually one more thing: if you're a decorator and you're interested in putting your class, your master class,
I was gonna say.
on LA Balloons on our site, we do go through the class and vet anything that before we put it on there. So just send us a message, let us know that you're interested in working with us, and then we can work something out.
Cool. Where do they send that to?
help@laballoons.com.
Nice. There you go, guys. help@laballoons.com. That's usually how you guys can get a hold of us. Any of us, really.
We're a small team, so
Yeah.
don't think that your email's not getting up to either me and or Karen.
Yeah.
We're very quick to respond, especially before noon. So by noon, we should have answered almost everything.
Everything, yeah.
And we know that your stuff is time sensitive, whether it's an issue or you're trying to fit something in before the 1 p.m. deadline.
Yeah.
We're very quick to get to you guys' emails.
I think also this just reminded me when we were at the Tough Text experience, I think I had a conversation with some of the decorators that were there. A lot of you do these events, or you guys are doing like master classes, or you're just doing something that you guys are kind of trying for the first time. Don't be afraid to reach out to us if you guys are wanting us to support you in any way. We are always more than happy to help so many of you, whether it's, supplying a goodie bag or just getting your class out there. Don't be afraid to reach out to us or to really anybody. You guys don't really know who will tell you yes or no, and if they say no, then at least you tried. So help@laballoons.com is not just for I have an issue with my order or you're trying to get your order out quick. Really just reach out to us for anything. So
opportunities, you want to leave a review. We just got a really good phone call from one of our customers thanking Gus. I didn't tell you, but Brian had called us.
Okay.
And he wanted to speak to me directly, and he said Gus helped him out, make sure that he combined a shipment for him yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Not the first time he's done it, but the package was already boxed up. It had a label on it.
Yeah.
But Gus was able to find the box, open it up, and get that second order in and combine it.
Yeah.
So if you forget something last minute, send us an email, give us a call. We'll do everything that we can so that we can get it both on time and combined if it's possible.
Yeah. So.
But that was it. Shout out to Gus for that customer compliment. He was very, very happy. And he wanted to make sure that we got the message that like Gus saved him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first time that he's kind of gone above and beyond to make sure that he got what he needed when he needed it.
Yeah, all of our staff is really good with having that like customer interaction, and it genuinely comes from them. They care for you guys and for you guys to get your product on time, to get the product that you guys need. So if you guys have had any interaction with Gus, with Nikki, with Gilbert, Danny, anybody who's here, let us know because they love to hear you guys' feedback and comments and experiences with them. So yeah, so shout out to Gus for that order.
Making it happen, always. Thanks, Gus.
Cool.
I'm getting back to your question.
So I don't know what, I saw this yesterday on Instagram, and there's a trend going around of the names, baby names that you can think of that are basically balloon edition. So can you think of some baby boy, baby girl names that are in the balloon industry? Yeah.
That I would use as a name.
Yes. So.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to share them?
It's funny, and it sounds repetitive, or maybe that's just kind of my go-to.
Okay.
But I think Cameo is a great name.
Cameo.
I think yeah, like Cam,
Oh, okay.
Cameo.
Okay.
Like I think that would make a really good kid name.
Like a gender neutral name, or
It kind of is because Cameo. I could see Cameo being a guy, and I could see it being a girl.
okay.
So that would be my first thought.
Mm-hmm.
I did see somebody do this yesterday. I think it was like a Feather Fox designer.
Yeah, she had good ones.
She is hilarious.
Yeah, where
I love watching her stuff.
the one that she had that I was like, oh my god, that's funny, was Helium.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
He and Liam. Helium.
And then what did she say? She was going to be best friends with. I can't remember now. It's gonna.
I don't remember the name. She had really good names on there. One of the ones that I was thinking of was, so we carry gems.
Okay.
Gemma.
Gemma. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But and it's out there. That's
a real name.
Out there, yeah. But like, I thought about like.
There's an actress named Gemma.
Is there?
Something. She was. Yeah, I can't. She was in one of the Marvel movies.
I'm trying to think. I'm like.
Gemma.
I had screenshotted some names because I was like, oh, these are funny. Like, and now I can't think about them.
Okay, let's see. Can we think of any other names?
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at my screenshot that I had made.
What is another name that I would consider in the balloon world? Conduit pole.
Okay.
Mega? No. I was thinking Mega Shine, but I'm trying to think. I don't know. Cameo. It happens to be my favorite color, but it also happens to be, I think, a good name.
Yeah.
Slate. I think
Slate is a good one.
Slate would be a good one.
I saw this video of this girl that just names her kids, their middle names are all just colors.
Oh.
Like one of them was just kind of, there was some sort of significant meaning behind the color.
Okay.
And then from there, she was just kind of like, I'm just going to give my kids a color as their middle name. So like one of them was like red, the other one was like fuchsia, and like just random colors. But it's kind of hard, I would say, to think of names that are balloon related.
Well, a lot of times now the names of the balloon are being named after real life things.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
true.
Latte or what was it? There's that Swiss Miss one. What's the brown? I think of Swiss Miss, the hot chocolate one. Cocoa.
Oh, Cocoa.
Cocoa Brown. But it's, and then mustard. Like there's a lot of things that are coming from real life. Willow is a good name, but that's also already a real name.
Let's like Willow Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So Stone.
I was laughing at this one because, sorry, I'm looking at my watch because I had screenshot it, but it was Erica, but you're not spelling it ERICKA or however you spell it. It's air, like AIR, and then IKA, Erica. So I thought that one was funny.
That would be a good way to spell it.
There's a bunch of them, but they're just, I don't know, they're
something to think about.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think, because I know like Feather Fox had one. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say Sunny Bunny Balloons also had made a video like that. So let us know what you guys are thinking of, and
what are your favorite
balloon
balloon related?
I was like, what would you name your child with a balloon name?
Or would you? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, realistically, like, I think Helium, like,
yeah.
Cameo, I think there's a lot more unique names out there than things that are related to the balloon industry.
Yeah, I think specifically with the balloon industry, maybe it's a little bit harder. But I mean, people nowadays just name their kids everything. I mean, like Kylie, the Kardashians are like known for naming their kids just random
things.
Yeah. So
and then Elon Musk's kids, like you can't even pronounce. Like they're like equations.
Oh, like, really?
It's I'm not even gonna attempt to repeat whatever he named his kids.
Okay. Well.
Okay. That was fun.
That was my one question that I had. I had another one, and it's on my phone. that we're recording with.
Well, it's too late now.
I know.
Well, hopefully you'll think about it.
Okay.
But first, you're going to have to think about this question is for the audience, and it is for you too.
Okay.
Do you think that balance is required while working your way towards your goals? Now, the goal could be all kinds of things. It can be personal, it could be financial, it could be career, it could be just life adventure at whatever the case might be. But do you think balance is required and or even possible, actually?
I think so. I know it might not come as easily, I guess, as most things, but I think balance is important. The first thing that comes to mind when you ask me that question is when you're exercising and you're finally getting into working out and you're trying to eat better. It's hard for people to kind of just go like cold turkey. Like, so I think you have to find a balance between still like working out and eating healthy, but here and there, like you can still have the chocolate. Like, you're not gonna go like eat a whole tub of ice cream, but you can still have a balance and like eat right and still have like your sweets or your sweet treat. I think when it comes to business, that's hard. What do you think?
I actually don't think that balance is neither. I don't think balance is required.
Okay.
Number one. But two, it depends on how you define balance. Okay, so the first thing I want to kind of touch on is, what is balance to you? Like, what does that mean? And two, like, how big is your goal? Because if your goal is huge and requires a lot of effort, maybe you can do it with balance, but maybe you're going to be 65 by the time you accomplish it. And that's not when you want to, let's just say, enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
I can say that between the age of, like, let's call it 21 to 28, I don't know that I had actually, maybe even further than that, maybe even all the way up to 32 or 33. I don't know that balance was, one, a priority, or two, with the things that I did want to do, I don't know that it was possible. Now, someone else might say, yes, it can be. But there were probably a lot of people looking out from the outside looking in, and me working 80 hours a week. Okay, but I was still in the gym. 1-2 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. I wasn't sleeping a whole lot. I was probably sleeping 5 hours a day. There was points where I was working 3 jobs. So I remember one of my goals before moving out to California was to be debt-free. So I knew I wanted to propose. I knew I was going to live with Liz. And I knew we were going to start a whole new life in California. I did not want to bring, let's just say, my baggage, my financial baggage. And luckily, it wasn't that much, but I wanted it to be zeroed down. And in order to do that, I was working as a manager at Under Armour at the flagship location in Baltimore. I had a contact at Tiffany's who let me work seasonally. And then I was personal training people.
Oh, wow. Busy.
But I did that for 3 months. And I think even in that year, right before we left, I had done a bodybuilding show, like my last show before I left.
Oh, okay.
So now that required me to essentially work nonstop. Be in the gym, eat a certain way, save the money, pay the things off. But by the time we got on our road trip, I was able to propose. I had paid all the credit cards down. I didn't have any student loans or anything else like that. And we were really able to kind of start super fresh. And, I'm, 21 years into like the whole working out and eating thing.
Like,
So
you're
like,
21.
you're trying to say. I just saw this video that said, "How do you know you're over 30?" And it's like when someone asks you how old you are, and you go, "How old do I look I am? How old do I look?" And I was like, "I do that. Of course I do." But lost track of my thought there. What were we talking about?
A clean start while you move here.
But yeah, so like I've also been, I've been working out and eating,
Mm-hmm.
a certain way for 21 years, and I don't miss the gym. I go to the gym. It's called 4 to 6 days a week, religiously.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation. It's fun for me. I'm out of town on a work trip or whatever the case might be. That's fine. I was opening a new store. Cool. I moved to a new city. No problem. You work out. Sometimes you have what you need. Sometimes you don't. But something is better than nothing. And I think a lot of people thought I gave up things or like
sacrificed.
Yeah. But for me, it wasn't a sacrifice because I enjoyed the process.
Yeah.
Regardless of, let's just say, the outcome. And because I'm not attached to that outcome, and it was fun for me, on one hand, I might say, I thought it was pretty balanced. I got the things that I wanted. I worked for the things that I wanted to work for, and I was happy.
Yeah.
I think when the word balance is kind of thrown around, it's also, it's because you're missing something because you're either working or trying to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
And I think that comes down to how do you prioritize? How do you organize your life? What are your systems? How do you handle stress? Because you can actually take on so much. You don't know that you can work 2 or 3 jobs
until you're doing it.
Until you're doing it. And you actually feel, and I remember during that time, I wasn't exhausted.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was coming home at 11:30 and I'm like so drained. I actually felt like, oh, I got all of that done.
Yeah, I think once you're in that position, you really test yourself to see how much you're actually capable of doing. And I think in those moments, because I used to do it in college where I was going to school and then I was working 2 jobs. And I think in that moment, you're not really thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. You're kind of just trying to get through the day, get through the week, and just get it done to get to that goal that you're wanting. So I think in that sense, I do agree, you don't feel tired. And it's maybe not until one thing kind of ends that you're kind of like, oh, I either have extra time, so you kind of notice how much you were doing, or you get to that point where, I don't know, you do kind of catch a break on it and you are just enjoying that tiny little break that you do have. So,
and you almost feel like that hour, 2 hour, whatever that break is is actually more meaningful, and you enjoy it more.
Yeah, I think also how you're mentioning sacrificing, I don't think that it is necessary. I guess I want to change my answer now. So I think that with balance, I guess it is hard. It's not really sacrificing anything if at the end of the day you accomplish the goal that you're setting yourself up for. And I don't really know if it's, and I guess it just depends on the perspective that you have, because as I'm hearing you, the end goal was for you to, be debt free. And I think for most people, some people are in their lives where for you, it was important to accomplish that goal. For others, I don't know, just as an example, would be they just wanted to, let's say, party on the weekends. And for them, in their perspective, it would be oh, you're sacrificing the party life or whatever. But for you, it was more so I would rather work and not be out partying and not spend my money because I want to accomplish this goal. So
I think the other part to it is just kind of appreciating the journey.
Yeah.
And finding something in each of those things to kind of enjoy. Because I get it. If you're working 2 or 3 jobs and you dread it and it doesn't, and you can't find anything in it. Although I would challenge you, in many cases, there is something that you can find that you can appreciate about it because
Yeah.
it's teaching you something.
Mm-hmm.
It might be repetitive, but you're learning a skill. You might be getting more detail oriented. It might be the opportunity that takes you something else. But I've always tried to kind of find a reason to like what it is that I'm doing. If I'm going to spend time doing it, I want to enjoy part of it.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of have that perspective on the things that you're doing as well as the situations that you're in. I think I've kind of learned that, and maybe I'm in that era now where I'm learning how to do that, because there are certain situations where depends on your mindset and the way that you see things. To some people, you know, being able to have two jobs is like stressful, and they're like, I need to work two jobs, you know, because of this and that. For other people, it's like, I get to work two jobs and I get to get up and go and, you know, interact with people. So I think it really just depends on the mindset that you're in. And so it just really, I guess, depends.
No, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
it's 100%. And the bigger the goal, you know, the more effort, the more work, whatever that work is defined as, you know, it's going to take. So if you're building your business right now in the balloon industry, or even outside of the balloon industry, and you're listening to this, you know, keep your eye on the prize. You know, if it's not so big that it scares you, then that goal probably isn't big enough.
Yeah.
One of the things that I came to a very hard realization of when I moved here was that my goals were too small.
Really?
So me moving to Southern California after never having seen it and having no interest in like the whole Hollywood celebrity thing and like why most people go to LA. I don't know what it was, but sometime around 22, 21, I told all my managers, like, that's the promotion I want. So when I got promoted 7 times at Abercrombie and I moved up and down the coast, opening these stores, fixing the stores, hiring these people, training the people, getting the secret shops, getting the business up, whatever. It was because my mindset was like, okay, my next promotion, hopefully they'll just move me out here.
Yeah.
They never did. But that's when after 10 and a half years there, I finally entertained the option to move with another company, which was Under Armour. And it actually only took, I think, a year and a half, maybe less than 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And how it happened was I was in New York. We were having lunch with my regional manager and the HR manager. And we had just interviewed like 100 people.
From Under Armour?
From Under Armour.
Okay.
And they were opening up a new store in Soho. And we were vetting the candidates. And I told the HR person and my regional manager, shout out to Dana, if she's listening to this. Love her, Dana Prillo. She came from Abercrombie too, so we bonded on that. I told us, like, if you ever open up a store in Southern California, you can throw my name in the hat. Now, we had never done this. We had already opened up like 8, 9 stores, or these brand house Under Armour stores. And normally we like to go to the location and find someone local because they've got all the connections. If they were a manager at a previous brand, they'll know how to network. They might find people who are experienced.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So to go to the local market. But just by throwing it out there, half as a joke, but definitely for real.
Yeah.
3 months later, they asked me if I'd be willing to move out, and like,
wow,
it happened. But when I got here, I was like, oh, like, I'm looking around. I'm like a few hours away from the mountain to go snowboarding. I'm 30, 45 minutes to go to the beach. I'm surrounded by a gajillion gyms. The food is delicious. I love where I live. Like, I was just really appreciative.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, well, now what? Like, and I was like, all right, I found the girl. We're getting married. Yeah. You know, I'm driving, at the time, it was like a 2010 Acura MDX. You know, and I was like, love the car. Like, I was like,
which is at my house now.
Yeah, which is now Karen's brother is now the owner of. But love the car, love where I was living,
Mm-hmm.
living in the state that I was living in. There was always something new. And I was like, this is exactly how I pictured and I wanted my life to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I was only 30, I was only 30 at the time. So I was like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was it. I just had to kind of like stick to the game plan of kind of visualizing it and make sure that my actions and what I was working towards was still reflecting that goal. And now it was how do I come up with bigger goals?
Yeah. That's crazy. At 30 years old. I think that when you have finally made it, you had like you made it moment.
I did.
But once you're there, you're kind of like, so what now? Because I think we think, a lot of us think that we work towards this goal that may or may not happen. And once you're there, you're kind of just like, I'm here, I accomplished it. And it's okay to stay there if that's where, that's what your end goal is. But I think for a lot of us also, it's when you accomplish that, you're kind of like, what's next? Like, what more can I do? So.
Which is only, I think, I don't want to say it's the right thing, but that is kind of like the human nature is to like continually move forward. And it's kind of when you get stuck and you don't change or you don't grow that people kind of get in a rut. And it wasn't a rut, it was a good thing. Like I reached kind of like what I had, I wouldn't say asked for, but I worked for. But at the same time, I was like, that was too easy. Now it wasn't in the sense because like if I think back to like
everything you went through,
the long days and the late nights and this, that, or the other. But on the same side, I was like, oh man, what if I had just made the goal, I want $15 million and like a mansion overlooking the ocean by the time I was 30, instead of, I just want to live in Southern California, have a decent or nice apartment with high ceilings and like, drive this or that. And I was like, okay, it could be so much more if I do attribute that to kind of like that visualization process. Wow, I feel like I can't talk right now. I'm getting over a sickness. So I was out for 2 days this week and I'm still getting over it. But visualizing, and it took longer than kind of I wanted it to, but I didn't want to move to Delaware when I did, but that's when I found Liz.
Yeah.
And Abercrombie didn't move me to, Southern California, but Under Armour did.
Yeah.
Things will happen in time and maybe in a different way than you plan for it to be. But if you really, really want it and you're able to visualize it, and I had a very clear vision of like how I wanted life to kind of be like.
Yeah.
And, now it's about updating that. And every time you kind of hit it, you kind of reassess, you build on that, and then you set new goals, just like the gym. But back to the original point of like just balance. I don't think it's possible if you really, really want something and it's that big.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something smaller, like I don't know, then sure.
Yeah.
But what is balance also part of your goal? That's the other thing too, because I'd never necessarily wanted it, quote unquote, balance until Liz, these last couple of years.
Okay.
Like, so I'll give myself like a time limit if I'm at the gym. And that's to make sure that I can be home, make dinner, we can eat together, and then we can be in bed on time because she has to be up at like 5:30 or 6 so that she can go to work. But I'm not giving anything up. I'm still going to the gym.
I was going to say, do you think about it as, because I think the word balance versus sacrifice I think like sacrifice sounds almost a little harsh. Like you're sacrificing your time at the gym to be with your wife. And that, like when you put it that way, you're sacrificing your personal gym time for your wife. Sounds selfish. But for you, it's about balance. And I think I guess that is balance, right?
Well, exactly. So I think when people think balance, they're thinking like, I can satisfy mine and everyone else's wants, right? Because a lot of things that you or most people do aren't just what you want to do. It's
Yeah.
your obligations, whether it be family or friends, work or this or that. And like you're able to not only get what you want to do, but what everyone else wants you to do.
Yeah.
You know, and when you start just focusing on what you want to accomplish, the only people telling you that you're not balanced are the people who you kind of left behind.
Yeah. I think,
right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's never going to be somebody who's working just as hard or doing the same thing as you, because they're going to understand the grind that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I know that for a lot of balloon decorators who are hustling and grinding, doing it in their house, late night, early morning, no weekends, because you're decorating for the weekends,
Yeah.
you're doing the deliveries on the weekends, like that's what you have to do at that point. And then once you get to the point where the business is big enough and you don't have to do it, and you've got employees, you get not only your weekends back, but your nights, you get the vacation.
Yeah.
So it levels out. But I think the word balance, it's how you define it. And I do think the only people who are telling you that you're living out of balance are the people who don't understand or truly support your goal, or aren't, even though they're purposefully not supporting you, they're not.
I think that with you saying that, it does tie in with, there are a lot of influencers or a lot of people that are at a certain point in their life. Specifically, let's just say influencers. Influencers are known for getting, hate comments. And for a lot of them, in their mindset, they're kind of saying, if you go and comment on my picture and you say mean things, that's just a reflection of yourself and how you see yourself and how the point that you're at in life. I think along with that, it is like you have people in your life that don't necessarily kind of grow with you because they're either fine with where they're at, or they maybe are just not seeing the same vision that you're seeing and where you want to go in life. So I think having that balance is really how you define it. I think it's important to be surrounded with people that truly see your vision, and the ones that are not as supportive as others maybe, it's okay to leave them behind. And it doesn't have to be any like bad blood and say, oh, so-and-so thinks that they're better than me because now they have a business or whatever it is. It's just so that you're kind of moving along and you're growing, and the people that you attract are the people that are in your same circle. You start to grow, you start to learn from them, and it's okay. It's okay to grow, and in their eyes, balance to them doesn't have to be the same definition to you. So,
and I think that's the thing. Most people think that balance is like you wake up, you take this kid to school, you go to work, pick them up, you cook dinner, and like that is the priority. But even though that might make some people happy, it doesn't make other people happy. And their version of what a daily routine is, what a weekly routine is, what time with the family looks like is unique and different. But I do think anytime when you're chasing a large goal, it's hard to expect other people to understand like why you're spending so much time doing those things. But I will say it is possible, and you can do it. I've seen it happen to so many people, not just me. You're able to do it.
I think
very easily.
We always accomplish different. I think everybody has their own goals, and everybody accomplishes their things at their own pace. I think it is important to surround yourself with people that inspire you. And I think I mentioned this last time, where being around you, being around like your wife, being around certain people in my life, it does inspire you, and it does keep you kind of motivated and keeps you thinking of your next step, and like saying, if you could do it, then I could do it. And as corny or as cheesy as that sounds, it really is like, if someone can do it, then so can you. You just have to be willing to put in the work. So I think back to your question, speaking of balance, I think balance, I guess it just depends on the situation. It depends on how you define it. Because for me, when you said balance, I thought like, oh, well, you're going to the gym, you can balance, whatever. But I guess it just does depend on the situation that you're in and how you define balance.
That was nice. No, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell you?
No. Maybe you told Liz.
No, I did. He wants me to say it on camera now.
Well, now we can play it back. All right, that was nice. I call this segment questions to make Karen think.
Yeah, he's always having me think about just different things. I don't know these questions that he comes up with. And that's just part of, what is it? Like, it's his tactic to get me to think. But it's funny.
Again, we're trying to be authentic here. So I don't want you to premeditate or think too hard about the question.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you feel about it?
It's funny though, because I think similar to what we just talked about, I just did a podcast with your wife. It's Midday Meltdowns for all of you who want to go ahead and listen. I believe she has an episode every Thursday.
On Thursdays.
Yes, every Thursday.
Midday Meltdown with Liz.
Yes, Midday Meltdown with Liz. And she is on iTunes. She's on Spotify. And she has a website. So middaymeltdown.com. And basically what we just kind of talked about, her and I go a little bit more into depth about balance and people in your life and all of that. So it's funny.
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, you on multiple podcasts. You're a celebrity now. So I got another question.
Okay.
I would like to know, well, two things. It's about how to prioritize and handling stress or anxiety. So one, do you have a system or what is your way to prioritize, whether it be work or personal life?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, how do you handle, let's just say, stress or anxiety when it gets too much?
Prioritizing is something that for me, it really depends on what it is that I'm wanting, I guess, in terms of, I'm thinking as I'm trying to answer this question. For me, prioritizing, I don't know why I'm thinking of like time management, because I think time management plays a role in prioritizing your stuff. Mm-hmm. I think when it's something that's more just there's no time frame or anything like that, I think I'm more lenient on those types of things. When it's prioritizing, I think I prioritize in my life, I prioritize my job over maybe other things, maybe like my own goals.
We didn't pay her to say that, by the way.
Did not.
Go on.
Yeah.
She is very dedicated, though. So there's been many days where she was here at 5 a.m. or stayed late at night, worked on the weekends. Yeah. We all have at some point. But
yeah, I was going to say, I think the thing about working here is that I'm not going to say like LA Balloons it is a priority for us, but for us, like we do it because we genuinely want to, like we like being here and doing as much as we can. For me, I prioritize my job because I feel like I never want to let other people down. So I try to do the best that I can. So I think for me, like in terms of like a list of priorities, it would be my job. And then it's like my family, which is, I guess, ties in with like my personal life. And then anything extra would just be like at the bottom of my list. I don't really know how I would prioritize.
You always have a lot of tasks on your list.
I have a lot.
So how do you pick which one you need to work on?
I think that, like, let's just say here at work, if it's something that can get done within the next 5 minutes and it's simple and it's not going to take me time to like research it and really, reach out to people and find answers and negotiate, whatever the case is, I think if it's going to take me 5 minutes, I'm going to get that one out of the way to get it done so that the next person that was just waiting on me can continue their part of it. If it's something that maybe takes a little bit longer, I will put that one maybe at the bottom of my list. It just really depends on the urgency of what I'm working on.
So you're looking at when does this project or task need to be accomplished?
Yeah.
And you're doing it. And then you're also looking at how long is this going to take me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair. And what happens when you've got a lot of things? Again, whether it be life or work,
Hmm.
how do you handle the stress or anxiety from it?
The thing with me is that if I'm stressing, it is, I try not to stress too much, but I think it's normal to just stress. But for me, is that I don't like to ask for help.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't like to ask for help, and I like to
I
do
can
it.
testify to this.
I like to do it on my own. I like to figure it out on my own. I don't think that it is, I don't want to say fair. I don't think that it is something that I have to deal with. Like, I don't have a choice, because I could delegate certain things to other people and that could help alleviate some stress, which I'm working on now. I have attachments to certain things that I just like how I do them, or I've just enjoyed doing them. But sometimes I've learned that someone else can take that on as long as I'm instructing them how to do it or guide them on how to do it. I have to just trust that they're going to get it done. So I think when it comes to stress, which kind of ties in back to prioritizing, when I feel a little too stressed because there's a lot going on, then I will write it all down, whether it's on my phone or like on a notepad, whatever. I'll write it down and then go from there to kind of help me really see what it is that I have to do, because I think having it written down versus just having it all in your head makes a difference, because then you're just kind of going back and forth in your head and you might miss something, and if it's on paper or it's on your phone, then
Okay.
it's on it. So
Do you have any activities that you do to decompress?
I do not.
No.
Maybe I need an extra activity to decompress. I know a lot of people listen to like, they meditate or they listen to like sound baths or they do a workout class. I don't think I have anything specific that I'm like, let me go do this for a few minutes to myself.
Audience, let us know.
I know,
What do you
like-
do to decompress?
What do you guys do? Give me some ideas and.
I mean, I just lift weights. So like I
Yeah.
go to the gym, but I go to the gym for so many reasons. It does keep me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I love to do it. I do get I get that reward, and it hasn't stopped coming. Like the reward in my head that like I'm happy. You literally do from I just learned about this. I guess there is some sort of protein that gets released into your bloodstream when you contract your muscles.
Oh,
Now, contracting your muscles might mean walking.
okay.
So you could go for a 30-minute walk or whatever the case might be,
Mhm.
or it might be exercising. But the more the muscles actually contract,
Mhm.
the more of these happy proteins or molecules go into your bloodstream. But it's actually an anti-stress thing. So I was like, I knew I always did it as an outlet, or as I guess a therapy, so
Yeah.
to speak. But I didn't know that there was literally a chemical process that happened when you move and you flex and then you contract and you stretch and you eat. But it can only happen when you contract the muscles.
Oh, I was gonna
So,
say,
like-
is it your endorphins?
So different from that. So yes, there is that will happen only if you like doing the thing that you like to do.
Oh.
So when I have a specific way of working out.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of other types of workouts necessarily. Let's call it CrossFit or classes or
Mhm.
whatever. I do like yoga. But I always tell people mine isn't necessarily the best one. It's just the best one for me because it keeps me coming.
Yeah.
The results that I get are the results I get because I love to do it.
Yeah.
So it's the thing that you love to do that keeps you coming back for more that's going to work. So if you like Zumba or something like that, great. If you're a dancer and you do all kinds of like salsa and different kind of dancing things, and you're contracting your muscles, or it's doing the same thing, the endorphins will get released. Okay. Those endorphins might not get released when you're lifting weights.
Yeah.
Okay. It might work when you're doing Pilates. It might work when you're running. It might work when you're just taking a brisk walk around like a scenic place that you like. It might be a hike. So it might be different for everybody. but the common denominator, I guess, denominator, I can't talk today, from the study was that the contraction of muscles actually triggers the brain to release these little proteins that act as like an antidepressant and an stress, which, if you know me, I'm a pretty happy person overall.
Yeah.
And that is whether or not we have a lot on our plate and we're dealing with something.
Yeah, Andrew always sees the positive of everything. I don't think I've ever really seen you mad at all. Stressed maybe one time in the few years that I've known you, but he's not a person that gets upset or gets stressed out or worries in any way. I think
I
you're
do
always
worry.
Well, you don't show.
Worries, but again, it's kind of how you handle it.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's good to know. So,
fun facts.
Yeah.
All right, and then what was my other thing? Ooh, do you have any other questions or things, or was that your only question that one time?
I had something else, and I can't think about it, but maybe you know what? Next time I'm bringing the list, and we're gonna turn tables, and I'm gonna ask you questions because the last few episodes he's the one that's brought the little sheet with points, and next time I will bring.
Well, you're working on the post-production, so I figured it's kind of fair.
It's a balance.
I'll set up.
It's a balance.
Yeah, there you go. So we're in harmony. We're both working on it. But by all means, if you have points to bring,
I will. Mm-hmm.
But our next episode is actually going to be at Float.
Yes. So
2024.
Ooh. So last episode we said you and Steven were going. I won't be there now also.
You will be there.
Yes. So I'm coming to Float 2024 for the first time. I will only be there for, let's just say, 24 hours, I think. It's a short trip.
Did you know that the Take Me to the Chapel with Tough Tex is already sold out?
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
and there's
gosh.
a wait list.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no joke, it's done. Like, cut off.
Oh my god. We were just announcing it
last week.
Yeah.
And we just got the details and everything.
There's going to be a party in Vegas.
So if you're going to be in Vegas, make sure you come see Karen.
Yes.
We still don't know if I'll be there or if it'll be Steven.
Mm-hmm.
But Karen will definitely be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be fun. I mean, Tough Tex experience last year was...
That was great. That was
awesome.
a great time. So this time they have 3 different events, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Bachelor
bridal, and something else. But there's gonna be a party bus, from what I heard. So let me know what you guys are wearing, because I'm that person that's like, where are we going? What are we wearing? And then we can all coordinate. So
that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. What are we wearing?
What are we wearing to going to the chapel? So that's fun. I didn't realize that it was all sold out already. So
I'm not surprised, but I am. I'm like, well.
Yeah.
So if you got a ticket, you're one lucky person.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge wait list apparently for everyone trying to get into this right now.
Well, I wonder if people from, I don't know, out of California are going. If people are flying in just to go to the event. So hopefully I see a lot of people that I already know, and then meet a lot of people that I don't know. So,
did they tell you that you're driving to Vegas?
I saw the email. It kind of seems like I'm driving myself
like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it'll be a little road trip for me and either you or Steven.
Yeah,
so I'm bringing some stuff with me. So I saw it in the email and I was like, I'm gonna take that as I'm gonna drive myself. So I might see some of you on the road.
There you go. Honk if you're there.
Honk if you're going to the Tough Tex events.
All right. So back to original trivia question, because that's everything I've got for today.
Okay.
What is your guess? How many colors does Tough Tex offer as of today in their catalog?
The number that comes to mind is 72.
You are so close.
Really?
That is not the answer. I'm sorry. So the answer for those listening, 73 colors.
No way.
73. I
Oh
confirmed
my
with Allison. I also
gosh.
triple counted. I checked our color guide. I checked the tufftexballoons.com website.
Okay.
And we've got 73 confirmed by Allison this morning as of right now. Who knows how many they'll have in the future? It's only growing. But again, thank you to Tough Tex Balloons for sponsoring On Air with LA Balloons.
Wow, I didn't know that they had 72 colors. 73. Sorry, 72 was my guess. 73 total colors.
Yeah.